Black anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, was led by Teresa Kelly. Will pay tribute to Dr. King on January 15, 1971. Now therefore I, R.M. Stovall, Mayor of the City of Fort Worth, Texas, in honor of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., do hereby proclaim the day of January 15, 1971 as Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Day in Fort Worth, and I do call upon all Fort Worthians to use this occasion to deepen our commitment to the ideals of love, brotherhood, justice, and equality, for which Dr. King gave his life. In testimony whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Fort Worth, Texas, to be affixed this 11th day of January, A.D. 1971. Signed, R.M. Stovall, Mayor.
The fact that they understand it and that they agree with us as to the general objective, which is to make the laws easier to understand and more capable of faster enforcement. And for any a group such as the Chamber of Commerce to approve of those objectives and in principle what we're doing has, of course, great significance.
What's the outlook for passage of a bill revising the penal code in this session of the legislature?
Well, we're very hopeful of its passage. Of course, it's a monumental task to get a bill through the legislature of this complexity. The State Bar Committee was 5 years in revising and preparing this legislation, but we feel that we have it in the hands of capable people, that it will get a fair presentation to the legislature, and that they'll consider it carefully and make any changes they think are justified, and that we'll get the bill passed this session.
We really didn't object to the licensing provision itself, except as it might give some respectability to the underground movies and others like these. And so what we did, we requested the committee that they make provision for the fact that in the event they were convicted of showing obscene movies, that their license could be revoked, and that the mere fact you license them does not mean that you are putting the stamp of approval upon them.
cold, brisk weather apparently kept many away who planned to attend Martin Luther King Jr. Day services at Burnett Park in downtown Fort Worth. Several hundred had been forecast to attend the new memorial services for Dr. King on what would have been his 42nd birthday. However, only about 100 showed up. A proclamation declaring today Martin Luther King Day in Fort Worth, signed by Mayor Stovall, was read by Ora Compton of the Fort Worth Human Relations Commission. Excerpts from Dr. King's speeches were read, and a commemorative address was given by Reverend M.E. Hodge, president of the Interdenominational Minister Alliance. The services for Dr. King, who was lauded as the leading light for black people in the United States, the man with a dream, were ended with the closing hymn, "We Shall Overcome," and a commemorative procession. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 15, 1971 in Fort Worth. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move at Burnett Park.
The parade will begin between 3 and 3:15 at Pacific and Ackerd. The line of march will be south on Ackerd to Elm, west on Elm to Griffin, south on Griffin to Main, and east on Main to City Hall. At City Hall, the Cowboys and their coaches will be met by the mayor and other city officials. We are asking Mayor Johnson to proclaim Monday, January 18th as Dallas Cowboy Day in Dallas. We want to show this magnificent team that we are very proud of them, win or lose next Sunday in the Super Bowl. And frankly, we have every confidence that they will come home the world champions. The city officials and the police have asked me to inform the public that the Cowboys will land on a remote part of Love Field and will not go to or through the terminal. Normal rules prohibiting anyone on the airport other than in the terminal area will be rigidly enforced. So fans, we are asking you to come downtown and pay your honor and greet our Cowboys downtown and not go to Love Field, because you will not be able to greet them out there in the manner that you would wish to and the manner in which we want you to as we have the parade in downtown Dallas.
How many?
Well, I was really shocked. I thought at first it was someone calling me from out of town trying to set up an appointment for Sunday, and I certainly wasn't going to plan anything for Sunday because I was going to watch the game. And Mr. Dale asked me what I was going to be doing Sunday, and I said, "Are you serious? What's everybody going to be doing Sunday? They're going to be watching that football game."
What are you going to be doing Sunday now?
Looks like I'll be sitting on the 50-yard line watching that football game. Unbelievable. I still haven't gotten it.
Our thrust will be a continuation of the current program, hopefully with additions as we go along in certain media. Our major efforts now are the advertising nationally in magazines, which particularly appeal to those tourists and prospective tourists who are looking for places to spend their vacation. We have had a very fine growth in tourism in this state, and it's also one of the state's biggest businesses. Many people do not realize that the tourism business in Texas, out-of-state tourists, in 1969 brought in $1.6 billion in revenue. And this has increased steadily each year, since, particularly since the state's program was launched in 1964.
Well, when they ask the question as Miss Universe, we are always asked a question, and my hope was like, if I won, to go, around the world and meet people, which I really like, and it doesn't matter what kind of people, what they are, to learn from them and just to, give a little love. And so it has been great because of that. You meet so many people of all social standards, black and whites, and poor and rich, and it's a great experience. I think nobody can have this experience, only, like being Miss Universe. It's fabulous, beautiful. Each person holds a world, and each person can teach you so many things, like meeting a president, which is a great experience. You never thought that you're going to be able to meet him and talk to him. But meeting somebody that is really, it's nobody, you would say, but you learn from that person, and it's every single day you learn so much.
After we present our resolution formally to the City Council on Monday, we already have an appointment to see Mr. Mito Meredith, who is our attorney. And a letter will be written to Mr. Charles Campbell, Director of the Park and Recreation Department, advising him that a formal lawsuit will be filed against the Park and Recreation Department if they consider putting a public park on the corner of Jessamine and College Avenue.
Let me ask you, if the lawsuit is filed, what will it ask specifically?
We will work that out with our attorney on Monday. One of the specific things that it will ask is that they cease and desist from putting a public park in this area.
I don't do it.
In dealing with the laws against pornography, you're dealing with the acts of an individual. Now, you go to his intention. If he intends to titillate, in the words of the United States Supreme Court, the prurient interest of the public for profit, you're dealing with a pornographer. If you can get rid of the pornographers in this country by jailing them, the amount of nudity and so forth will be, I'm sure, completely tolerable and acceptable in a free society. It's where there's a persistence and a pervasion of our society by the live sex show, the lesbian acts in the mini theaters, and the homosexuality rampant, this type of thing.
You agree that the laws as they are written are adequate?
I think the laws are completely adequate.
I think that there'll be a major controversy over this issue, and I base that on my own feeling. I consider myself a moderate with an open mind on this subject. We have closed minds in the Senate on both sides. So there are about probably 6 of us in the Senate who can possibly vote for an enabling statute, though my district voted heavily against it, can possibly vote for it if enough safeguards are placed in there. I give you as an example, we have 192 Liquor Control Board agents in Texas trying to enforce the law in 254 counties. And that's as ridiculous as thinking one ranger can handle one riot. It just can't be done. We can probably vote for a good enabling statute if they'll give us perhaps 3 times as many Liquor Control Board agents, or they call them alcoholic beverage agents, I think now, as we now have. In other words, I think the act has failed before because the legislature didn't back them from the standpoint of funds. And it does not matter whether you call it the Liquor Control Board, the Alcoholic Beverage Commission, or whatever you call it. It's going to fail, and some administrator's going to be made to look bad unless we fund him. I believe people on both sides of the liquor problem will support a good, strong, sophisticated, enabling act if we put the enforcement behind it. For example, Dallas registers many, many vehicles, but they have a limit on the amount of the money that is derived from that tax. And it costs Dallas County quite a bit of money each year just to register vehicles for the state. So I'm sure that there will be, and the same problem spills over into the less populated counties. I'm sure there'll be a bill to give a more equitable division of the motor vehicle fees this time.
We currently have underway at Fort Hood approximately 19 to 20 million dollars total construction, either underway or just about to be underway. Construction actually going on now. We've already let the contract for part of a $15 million package that Congress appropriated for Fort Hood last year. This is basically a 3,300 man barracks complex. Now, when I say complex, I include not only the barracks, but all of the allied buildings that go along with the barracks.
Well, we just haven't checked those out. They got 4 or 5 trays of men's rings and mountings and wedding bands and things like that. But there's no way we could check that out until we check it out on our books.
chapels, gymnasium, headquarters buildings, and everything that we need to take care of that many soldiers in a given area. Actually, we're already underway in, I think, about 4% complete and about $2 million of that. And the contract for the barracks, which are the major portion of it, should be let next week.
He put the gun in my side and it clicked. Like, I don't know what that was, but I answered him. And when I sort of turned around to look at him, he clicked, then's when he clicked the gun. And he just poured the sack full of trays and jewelry and that, and he told me he was going to take me with him. And I just prayed that he didn't take me with him.
A group of citizens calling themselves the Bellevue Hills Committee for Better Homes appeared before the Fort Worth City Council this morning to protest a number of plans to turn an area across the street from the Daggett Elementary School into a park. The plans have been promoted by the City Parks and Recreation Department and by the Independent School District. The committee says that the construction of a park in this location will attract undesirable persons and will invite vandalism. The citizens say that if there's really a need for a play area, they're willing to compromise. I asked committee member Mickey Scott about that compromise.
Well, the compromise that we made on that was just made because everyone has said that we're against everything. We're not. We think that the independent school district should buy the lot and use it as parking, removing the cars from the campus itself and allowing the use of this area that is now used for parking as for playground equipment. Now they can buy the playground equipment and put it on. Therefore, it will be only school for school use, which this is the way we feel it should be used during school hours.
In other words, not being used in space from 5 o'clock till 11:30 at night.
This is right.
Nobody really knows at this point if the park will be built by the city or the school district, or even if it'll be built at all. The only thing for sure is that the park is authorized by the Capital Improvements Bond issue of 1965. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
This telephone was installed in the Dallas Police Department to make it as easy as possible for you to get involved in the fight against crime. The number 741-7343 was established for the Rumor Control and Information Center under the supervision of Lieutenant Harold Warren. Lieutenant, how is it going so far? What is the response from the people?
We're presently receiving approximately 15 calls per day on the Rumor Center.
Exactly how does this work?
A citizen calls the number you just gave, 741-7343, and the telephone answering device activates a recorder, and the message is recorded.
Is this program actually solved any crimes?
Yes, we have certain cases such as thefts, narcotic cases, and things of this nature that we manage to solve through this system.
Is this part of an overall program of the Dallas Police Department to work together with the citizens?
Yes, it is. It's actually used as our major source of communication between our beat committee programs and our office.
Is this a part of what is Operation Get Involved?
Yes, it is. This is our beat committee program.
Operation Get Involved. To solve a crime in Dallas, it may be just as easy as picking up your telephone. This is Judy Hanna for Channel 8 News on the Move.